Hey everybody, welcome to the live show today. I'm super excited because I have awesome Jack Jewell on here, and I put all his information in the description so you'll be able to follow him. Please subscribe to his channel. He's super smart, brilliant dude, and I'm not just kissing his ass. I just actually really do like listening to you. I mean, we have some maybe slight disagreement, but really, I think we're pretty much in alignment. So why don't you just introduce yourself maybe to the people who don't know you, and then we'll get moving on.
Yeah, sure. Well, Buck, thanks so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to the conversation. And yeah, likewise, definitely a supporter and you're a friend. So looking forward to the conversation. Yeah, if anyone's not familiar with me, my name's Jack. I live in London in the UK, which is becoming the home of free speech. Some of you probably are aware. But I'm from Ireland. So I've lived here for 12 years. I'm gay. I'm male. I'm not trans. And yeah, I make YouTube videos about politics, kind of society and culture. Most of my videos are about the gender madness and the queer stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you literally are just speaking truth, dude. Like, really. I mean, I am a tranny, but I'm pretty honest about myself. You know that. I think it's why we can have conversation, because I am not a man. I am a female, and it took me many years to get to the space of I feel free. I feel very free to be honest about it. Like when you're trans, you're told that you can change your sex. It's literally impossible. Like actually impossible. But it takes a long time and maturity to get to a space, I think, that I'm at, especially today when we have a lot of people lying about what is a man and what is a woman and what is trans and what is gay. And I mean, they've literally destroyed the LGBT community, dude. They've destroyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in a world now where the social left they think language creates reality, and it's not just with gender, it's with everything. It's with race, it's with the economy. They can just say things and they think it's true. It's with Israel, Palestine, it's with absolutely everything. So
yeah, it is. It's kind of scary, actually. But as you know, for myself, I kind of you're I think a little bit more politically active. I'm less politically active and more sort of trans and tranny. I'm a tranny act. I'm the bad tranny, dude. I'll choose it. I'm just here for the kids. I think I already told you. I don't give a fuck what an adult does. Go do it, man. But don't interfere with other people's choices. And really what I did see was a lot of the trans community. It's different than when I transitioned, friend. It's different. It's not the same. We actually respected our gay family, and I came from the gay world. I am a gay woman on some level, right? I understand that. I live my life looking like a man, and I have a female partner, and we have a kid, and we walk the world looking like a straight couple. We're not, but you understand. I think you get it. You're very smart. But the problem is now we have people who are interfering with your world. And that's why I really want to get into this conversation, because some people are going to say that I created a lot of this mess. And I really want to have this conversation with you because there are things I think that I have waited to say with you, because if I write it on X, it's going to get misconstrued, and it's not going to be the conversation with somebody intelligent like yourself that I really want to have. So why don't you talk about what's been really on your mind about this show called I Kissed a Boy, I think it is.
Yes. I kissed a boy plus one girl.
Plus one girl. Yeah. Genius.
So there's a reality dating show here in the UK, and it's hosted by Dannii Minogue, who's Kylie Minogue's sister.
Oh,
some people think that she's sort of, the budget Kylie Minogue. Some people love her. And she does, so to give her credit, she does have a long history of supporting gay people. I know that, back in the day, she performed at, because she sings too, but she performed at a venue called GAY here in London. And as far as I know, her management team were saying, don't do this will be career suicide. And she decided to do it anyway because she wanted to support. So I do want to give her some credit. It's produced by the BBC, which is sort of becoming the British communist broadcasting company.
Right on.
A lot of people, a lot of people have become disenfranchised with the BBC and cancelled. We have to pay a TV license to watch the BBC, which is also, Americans find that crazy.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally. Wow.
People feel like the BBC has become very leftist slanted, and they don't cover kind of. They're supposed to be balanced because they're a public broadcasting company from the government, basically. Sounds like a bit like the Soviet Union. So last year in 2023, they brought this show out, and it was the first gay dating show. That's how it was marketed. So obviously, it was a big step forward. There have been gay people on some shows in the past, but we never had an exclusively gay dating show.
Okay.
And the first season in 2023 were boys or males, and that was all male. I didn't actually really watch that because I'm not really that into reality TV, but I thought it was a good thing. I knew that from seeing clips and stuff that it was very kind of queer and very progressive, but I was like, that's kind of to be expected in the media. Then 2024, they did I Kissed a Girl, which was a lesbian one, and that one had all females. And then this year, they did the second season, or they're currently doing it, so 2 more episodes out tomorrow, of I Kissed a Boy, and they announced that there's going to be a trans man in the show. So it was marketed as, this is so inclusive, this is so progressive. Danny Minogue was tweeting about it. They put a tweet out saying, "What are your questions for Danny Minogue? We're going to be interviewing her tomorrow." Every single question was, "Why the hell do you have a female on a gay dating show?" Literally everything.
Oh, God.
And of course they did. They didn't ask her that. They've definitely been taking a decision of ignore and avoid. I believe the contestants have sort of been told to not engage with quote unquote transphobia.
Oh my God.
And I've tried to approach my criticism from a somewhat balanced point of view, which, as you know, then I start getting hate from either side. Like, it's very difficult just to take a measured approach.
That's right.
And I've been very critical of the show because obviously, we've never had a gay dating show in the UK.
Yeah.
And they only gave us 1 season before then making it something else. And there's a lot of questions that come into play around consent and around the image that this gives off, and also the kind of behavior it motivates within kind of trans identified people. So we can obviously go into more specifics, but they've they've released the first 4 episodes. I did a video on it before it came out, and then I also did a reaction video to the first 2 episodes, which I did live. Now, 2 days after that, it was restricted to just certain locations. And then a couple of days ago, it got completely blocked globally. So you can't see
on YouTube? On YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah. Yeah, it had like 10,000 views. So I think the BBC probably caught on.
They did. They did.
So if anyone wants to see that, you can still find it on my X feed if you go to my highlights. And it's still fully up there. You can still watch it, but it's not. I can't reactivate it on YouTube now, unfortunately.
Oh, because you were actually using the footage from the BBC, right? So they were saying it was probably copyright infringement. Did they actually just block it so you just can't even see it?
Yeah, you can't see it. Luckily, they didn't give me a strike on my channel, but I've reacted to footage from the BBC before, and it's been copyright
strikes.
It's been it's not like a strike on my channel, but it's just been demonetized.
That's right. Yeah.
But they've not taken it down. So I think there are people working around in the background because I feel like in terms of loads of people on X have been criticizing this, and there's been a couple of articles in the mainstream news, but only really the right wing newspapers. And I think I'm probably the person that's covered it the most so far. So
you are.
So I mean, if they went looking, they would have found my video straight away.
Well, also algorithms and people complaining and da da da. I'm shocked because usually it happens to me when I bring up stuff that's copyright or either try to get rid of it or just whatever. I let them demonetize. I get demonetized all the time, Jack, all the time. I just let it keep
Really?
because they want you to take it down. I'm not taking my stuff down. I refuse. I'm allowed to say what I want, especially as a tranny, dude. But that being said, they do that so it'll you know what I mean? It will discourage you from keeping it up because you're not getting money for it. But I think I can speak for myself, and I think for you, we're not just in it to make money. Money's great, dude. It helps us. We can create this content, but I think we also are in it to sort of really create a fair and balanced conversation, as well as get back to some effing reality here, dude. Like what? So
Yeah, I
yeah,
it enrages me with YouTube because they will demonetize you, but
yeah,
then they'll still show ads on your video, you know?
I
So
know they're making money.
surely if it's you know, not worthy of ads,
Yeah,
then if they demonetize it, they would just not play ads.
that's right.
Whereas they demonetize things to try and control the conversation, so they just
That's
put
right.
ads on it anyway. So yeah, I think I don't get videos demonetized often, so I don't know if that's because they're not, you know, I don't go too far with my rhetoric, or I've
Yeah,
heard that when you have a smaller channel, sometimes they target you less. So
yeah.
if I grow and grow, then it might be the case that I get more demonetization.
There's that. There's a lot of things, right? I am kind of an asshole, and I do say things that are very considered transphobic, even though I'm like an old tranny, dude. I'm like, wait a minute here. I literally transitioned before half you kids were even born, and I can't say anything. So that's why I know there is an
True.
agenda. There's no doubt. And also, yeah, I think really the thing that they here have their eyes on is trans, queer, non-binary, not necessarily gay, because we don't even talk. Do you notice we don't even talk about gay youth anymore? We don't even. There's no conversation around gay youth.
Yeah, like I mean, that's a funny one because I think now we've slipped into this world of teaching this stuff in schools
Yeah.
and teaching about sexuality. But really, you know, the way we say there's no such thing as a trans kid,
All right.
there's also really no such thing as a gay kid. There are kids
Sure.
who will later grow up to be gay,
Sure. Yeah.
because when you teach 8-year-olds about sexual attraction,
Uh,
I think
yeah.
you're sexualizing them.
Totally.
Whereas when I was
Totally.
in school, I think I didn't get sex ed till I was about 10 or 11, but
Mm-hmm.
none of it was about attraction and arousal.
No,
It was just like, this is how babies are made.
that's right.
Um,
That's right.
so I'm in favor a bit more going back to that. I mean, I'm fine with, you know, there being a visible two dads or something in a
Mm-hmm.
story, but I think the left has just this tendency to have an association with the P word, and they don't
God,
understand that all of these. I mean, did you see this viral video of an American teacher? She's probably in your state or something, but one of the
probably.
parents was complaining to her. She's probably a they them, that she was teaching about. I don't know if I can say it, about butt plugs,
Say it on
and
my channel.
she
What?
was, you know, it's like 10-year-olds, and she was just fully defending it. But you can just see they're totally lost in this thing. They don't realize they're sexualizing kids, which is
I
dark,
have a
you know.
kid, as you know, a 13-year-old, so he's in that age group right now. I'm always like, shit ain't real, dude. No such thing as non-bi. I'm always teaching him that shit, man. Like, no, don't even try it. If you see flags at the school, you come home and tell me, dude, because I went to the school to make sure there was none of that shit happening. You're not going to indoctrinate my kid, even though I live in a very obviously, like, my whole places gay men and women, and you know what I mean, very few trans people, but
Yeah.
it's like you don't need to talk to kids that way. So when I meant gay youth, I'm meaning more like high school and not kids.
Oh yeah.
You don't need to be
Mhm.
talking about stuff like that at all. None of it, zero, dude. They need to go to school to learn shit, how to talk and
Yeah.
write and biology and you're right, all of that. So no, I'm complete total alignment with you. It's gone
Yeah.
off the rails, and that's why people start to dislike us because they think that we are indoctrinating children. But the trans community is indoctrinating. The gay LGBT community is not indoctrinating children. It's literally the trans community that's doing that.
Yeah, and it's not just indoctrination, it's now a lot of gay people, especially younger people or even people
Mhm.
around my age,
Mhm.
are extremely politically sensitive and,
Mm,
very progressive, but very authoritarian in their
mm.
worldview.
Yes.
So I hear from straight people, especially straight men,
Mhm.
who when they meet someone and the person's gay, they feel kind of on tenterhooks because they think, oh, this is going to be one of those woke,
Totally.
I
Totally.
can't say anything around him. So sometimes when I meet straight guys and then they learn about my views and stuff, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, I can relax. Like, I'm so sick of all this pride shit and everything." So I think the gay
God.
world, it's really fed into this
Yeah.
narcissistic, self-centered victimhood culture, which doesn't help with gay men as well, because obviously a lot
Mm-mm.
of um, a lot of everything now is about sexual liberation. So uh, anything pushing the boundaries sexually is just seen as an ultimate good, and there's loads of men who are getting into like unhealthy behaviors and coping
Yes.
mechanisms, and you
Yes.
can't criticize it. And
No.
I'm in a monogamous relationship of almost 6 years
Right.
with my boyfriend, and every single gay guy I know is in an open relationship, and I'm not here to judge that, right?
Yeah, of
Like I
course.
think
Yeah.
I think if
Yeah.
that genuinely makes you happy, then like I'm cool. But considering I have no desire for that, and I value my monogamy so much,
Mhm.
there has to be more guys out there who would benefit from the same. But I honestly think there's such a push away from that that it's seen
Mhm.
as too traditional and too conservative.
Mm.
Um, and I just think, when you think about masculinity and kind of the good qualities you can nurture in a
Mhm.
man, one of them is definitely self-control, because
Mhm.
we are reckless, impulsive, risk-taking,
Mhm.
very sexual beings. Um, and the gay world has lost that. There's no
Yeah.
self-control. It's just like ultimate pleasure.
True.
So I do try and talk about that, and I'm not here to try and push a gay guy either way, but it's more just about helping people have agency and actually deciding like, what do I want and what would make me happy. So
Oh, no, I love that about you because I'm a monogamous person too, and also I think there is this, but I'm not a gay man. I'm a woman who was with a woman. I mean, I this word identify has been completely fucked now, dude, because like it's just so fucked. I can't even say I identify as a man because it makes me cringe. It literally makes me
how does
cringe.
it how does it how does it feel when you call yourself a woman?
It doesn't here's the deal, what I think I said earlier, it might have been prior to this, I was talking to somebody about it. It actually makes me feel mature in my growth as a transsexual. I am 100% a transsexual, there's no doubt about it. I will never detransition. I've been doing this for 32 years. I'm fully comfortable in my space, but through my growth, and I think through the growth of the fight of this situation, I did realize I'm not a man. Okay, I'm never going to be a man. It's not possible for me to be a man. I might look like a man. I don't even know what it means to feel like to be a man. So when someone says, I feel like a man, that's bullshit because you don't. You just don't feel like a man unless you're an actual man. It's like a trans woman saying they feel like a woman. No, you don't. You'll never feel like a woman, dude, because you're not a woman.
Yeah.
And so I think what it's done for me is it's made me grounded in a sense that, okay, I'm a woman, whatever. I don't really fucking care. Once I leave the podcast and go to the real world, everyone sees me as a dude. No one ever misgenders me, dude. I can go pretty much everywhere in the world and not have an issue. It's
Yeah,
more
I'd
about
be
being real.
surprised.
It's literally
Yeah.
obvious, dude. I'm going to use the dude's toilet. I mean, if people have an issue with that, I'm sorry, but I'm not going in there to make problems, and I'm just going in there to take a shit, dude. And like,
Mm.
I don't understand. This is the problem now, and why I can poke holes in all their bullshit because I've been walking the world like this for a long time, and dudes never had an issue with me, dude. Even if you don't agree with me, you just didn't have an issue with me because me and you could just walk the same way, but never have to interact with each other. And I think the trans people came over and tried to just railroad everybody into this idea that
Mhm.
we're men and women and we had a
Mhm.
sex change. Remember, I used to call it a
Mhm.
sex change. We did not have a sex
Mm.
change. We had an appearance change. We had a
Yeah.
right different.
Yeah, and I think obviously you did it in a time when it was quite rare to do it, and I
Yes.
think people that made the decision then, there was less influence from online. And now what's happening is, when someone is suffering, then trans is something they are offered as like a framework to
Totally.
understand their suffering. So a lot of these young autistic girls, you know, girls that aren't even gay, that end up doing it. Like, we should come back to the female on the gay male dating show, but
let's do that. Yeah, let's do. You know,
yeah.
I got some clips, but now I'm scared to show them. Now I'm scared to show them
Oh no.
because I don't want them to attack us. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to. So I wonder if I just put it up here without putting the audio on. But I took
Yeah.
out the music. I went in and took a couple. I know which one I'll do. I'll do this one. I'll do for all of you who don't know the show that he and I are talking about. I think he explained it earlier on, but I got this clip from Ariel, okay, who happens to be a very good friend of mine, and she's a lesbian YouTuber, you know her, Scarcella.
I really want to reach out to her soon, by the way.
Oh,
to
I'll
do a video
connect
with her.
you.
I'd
Dude,
love
she'll
that.
love you. You should be on her show. You
Thanks.
should be on her thing. You know,
We
yeah.
follow each other, so I'm probably on her a little bit of
You
her
are.
lesbo radar.
She's an awesome lesbo, dude. Me and her are like super connected. She's a great friend of mine, so I will connect you.
Yeah.
But let me see if I can bring this up here for a minute here. Let me see.
I Kissed a Boy just aired in the UK on BBC, and of course, one of the contestants is a trans man. Some people are calling it progressive, others are calling it literal conversion therapy. I happen to be somewhat in the middle, as per usual. Because I feel like it's all dependent on how it is presented. If somebody that is on the show that is a gay man and doesn't want to date said trans person, are they going to ostracize him, call him a bigot, call him a transphobe? Or will people realize that being homosexual is based on secondary and primary sex traits, sex characteristics? Here's the trans guy in the show. He's 23. He works at a hotel. And I actually do appreciate what he said in this article from the Gay Times. He said, "I've been through 16 years of my life as a girl. It's aged me, but in a good way." So I'm happy that he's not one of those trans people that just completely denies his biological sex. Listen, one of these gay guys or bi guys or pan guys, whatever, might be attracted to some, you know, this trans guy's secondary sex characteristics. He kind of I think he passes and he looks cute, but his primary ones, I mean, and to suggest to any gay man or any homosexual that they need to be attracted to the opposite sex's genitalia is quite literally homophobia. Apparently Lars, though, was teamed up or paired up with like a bi or a pan guy on the show. The only thing that bothers me is what I said before, if they hate on a gay guy for not wanting this said trans person, and if they're calling it a gay dating show rather than a queer dating show, because that's what it really is.
Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, so why don't you go first and tell me what you think about what she said.
Just unplugged. So let me just make sure it's still.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. It happens. Technical difficulties.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So I think it was a great analogy. It was thoughtful. So let's set the scene of this show because there's so many things going on, right? So firstly, it's marketed as a gay male dating show. So that's the first problem.
Right.
If they decided to call it I Kissed a Queer and they decided to make it this kind of LGBTQIA plus show, then at least they would be being honest, right? Yep. So that's my first issue. The second one is it's very frustrating how they only gave us one season of all males before then deciding, oh, you know, it needs to be more inclusive. Like there's this sentiment in the queer community that gay men, I say queer community in quotations because I don't like it, but that gay men are really privileged and, you know, because they're cis. And it's like, I'm sorry, but, you know, I know what I've been through growing up in a socially conservative Ireland. You know, I've overcome a lot. I've worked through a lot. I'm not a victim, but I also know what I've had to go through. So if you have some like straight Bambi thug woman coming along saying, oh, I'm trans and I'm more oppressed than you, then you're going to get a big F off from me because, you know, you're a colonizer and that's all you are.
Yeah.
So that's really frustrating how they sort of think a gay male show now is not enough. It needs to go further. So how this show works is they start with 10 guys, right? And they pair the guys up before they meet based off what the guys say they like and what they're interested in. And then the two guys meet at this villa in Italy, and the first thing they do is kiss. So, I mean, I couldn't do that. I've like you sort of watch it cringing, but then kind of not wanting to look away at the same time. So the assumption is that the male they paired with Lars, this female who thinks she's a gay man, he obviously, my assumption, and this is what there's a lot we don't know. So my assumption is that he probably told the producers, yeah, I'm open to trans men, right?
Sure.
So that's okay if, you know, he can sleep with whoever he wants. Like, I'm not here to interfere with that. But the way the show is presented is really problematic, because the two of, obviously, they each do a little video diary introducing themselves, and then they meet and they kiss. And then Lars does not tell this other guy, Jack, same name as me, also has a mustache, so it's a bit weird. But apparently I'm the better looking one, so sorry. Now, Lars does not tell Jack on the TV show until afterwards. So they have loads of conversations, and then she's like, oh yeah, I'm actually trans. And he's like, okay, yeah, cool. Now, a lot of people on X are saying, oh my God, look how uncomfortable he looks, like he's dying inside. I don't think that's true. I think that he has decided he's okay with this for, could be a number of different reasons. But I think the way they present the show is so wrong, because what this is teaching young gay men and what this is teaching young females who want to be gay men is that they can kiss a gay man before telling him that they're female. And for me, that is not consensual. Like, if I was attracted to if a trans man really passed and he was tall, whatever, I think it's quite rare for someone to pass like you. I think it's actually a rarity. And the thing is, all of the kind of mainstream trans people on TV and in the media are like the best example. And a lot of these like autistic straight girls, like they have these kind of wispy mustaches, like they don't work out. Like, you know, you have to, if you're taking that testosterone, like you might as well use it to your advantage and build those muscles, because you can build them easier than me.
Right on.
So if I was single and I happened to like go home with a female from a club, and I think it would be quite rare, but like I know this probably sounds quite extreme, but I would leave and let reporters to the police, because this is not okay. And even if that guy says I like trans men or whatever, now I'm skeptical of that, because there's a lot going on here with the gay world, because trans is obviously seen as a very progressive thing, and loads of gay people are captured by the ideology and even transitioning kids. Which is against their interest for kids who grow up to be gay. So it's not as simple as saying he's bi. I think that a lot of these guys sort of convince themselves that they're into this too, because it's seen as more progressive. Now, it's easy on a dating show to kiss someone, but the question is, if it came down to the bedroom, like, how far would you go? And people have to realize that men can often perform even if they're not that into it. Like, think about all these men who come out in their 40s and they had kids and they had a wife.
Great point.
Obviously, they were still able to get it up, right?
Yeah.
So if that female actually looks very masculinized, and you've had a few drinks, or you're like behind the person or whatever, and you're not getting up and personal, in your facial area with then it's possible for gay men to suspend their disbelief.
Totally.
So it's not as simple as saying he's bi, and I'm very skeptical if it did come down to it, what he'd do. And then the other problem is that in the show, they can basically decide, okay, I don't like who I was paired up with, I'm going to explore some of the other options. And they all end up kind of switching. So after a couple days, the the guy ditches Lars and says like, I'm not feeling it. Doesn't give a reason why.
Yeah.
And then Lars starts getting with this other guy. So it's the same thing. It's like you're putting this female into a house with 10 guys, and everyone is supposed to be a dating option. They're all supposed to be in this like dating pool. So if she, and I'm only using that pronoun mainly because when I talk about this show, it's just very important for me to delineate the sexes. But when she comes on to one of the other guys, like, how is he going to feel in that situation? How much is he pulled in by this progressive mindset on, oh, well, you know, I need to be inclusive and trans men are men. So therefore, that's what the guy says. When she tells him, you know, I'm a trans man, he says, well, you know, you're a man. I like men. You know, it's very much the trans men are men. So there's just so much, and I don't think it sends a good message to gay men, but particularly females who identify as trans, because people don't realize that in gay world, there's a percentage of gay men, and I'm sure you know this, that love going to clubs, bathhouses, parties in which it's very much a sex thing.
Yeah.
I've never been into that. I've been at parties where I've been at club nights where there's like a specific room for that, and then the rest of the club is just fun. So I've definitely like seen the atmosphere, but I've read loads of stuff about females, you know, really young, like 18, 19, going to one of these things and obviously being disappointed, making guys uncomfortable, and then complaining about transphobia online. So
it's such a girl thing to do. It's such a woman thing to do. A dude would never go and complain that nobody was hanging out with. That's why it is. It's an actual female trait to go complain that nobody's dating you.
No, totally. And it's just, I mean, we cannot embolden these young women because, first of all, it's homophobic. And second of all, I actually have concern for them too, because apparently there are, you know that when predatory men see a loophole, they'll find it. So there have been some non-binary girls who aren't even on testosterone who've been assaulted in male spaces because they think, oh, well, I'm neither gender, so I can just go into whichever one I want. Of
course. Yes.
So it's a safeguarding concern for them too.
Totally.
And it's just, it's actually allowed me to relate to women so much more, because with most trans men, a lot of them are attracted to women. So I can't really relate to their experience as much. And then obviously trans women are male. But a lot of women of the very gender critical side, you know, call it woman face, and they just don't want it to exist, you know?
No. Yeah.
I don't feel that strongly, but when I heard the person on the show say, I always felt like a gay guy, immediately I was like, because that's me, right?
What is a gay guy?
I'm just thinking of some 13-year-old girl, like, because when you're gay, like, one thing boys go through when they're like 12, 13 is this like huge surge in sexual drive, and it's really confusing and it's really awkward, and females don't go through that. So like already you don't get it. So I can kind of see how her thinking that she's just the same as me, it does feel a bit like gay face. But if someone says, you know, I prefer to live my life this way, but I know I'll never be the same thing as you, then I'm more okay with that.
Great.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course. 100%. That's called respect. It's respecting. That's why I get so much respect from people like yourself who don't necessarily agree with all of everything, but I get respect from most of the world. You know that the people that hate me are the trans activists, because I'm willing to have these conversations and I'm willing to step up to the plate. Now that being said, my background, I want to get right into this because it's very important where my background comes from and why I can have this opinion about it. So 20 years ago, I created pornography. And when I created pornography, I actually created movies with men. And and as I'm business, I did porn to make money, dude. I did not do porn to become a porn star. I did not do porn to be famous. I literally did porn to make money. I saw a loophole and I did it and I made money, dude.
Yeah, you had a
years
niche.
ago. I had a niche. I made an actual niche, right? So it didn't exist. And so that being said, I made a bunch of movies. The movies that I did with men sold out of just off the charts, dude. So I was like, oh, well, it's gay men who like me, right? I realized it's a fetish. I am a fetish, dude. It is a fetish. People don't understand. Pornography is a fetish. Everything you see in porn is not real life, people. It's not sex ed. It's not none of that shit. It's our actual fantasy. So I created a fantasy for men. These were not gay men. They could full on identify as gay men if they want, but they're not. If they're having sex with me, they're not gay men. Okay. I look like a man. I maybe talk like a man or walk like a man. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, I ain't a man. Okay. So I've always been very honest about that. And people got mad at me. I understand why. I do. To this day, I understand why. But whatever. I'm making the bucks, dude. And people are buying my movies. So, you fill the market. And if people wanted to buy my stuff, it was there. But as I progressed in it and things started to go, in fact, I brought this was my number one selling. I had to cover part of it. This was my number one selling movie, dude. Buckback Mountain. So,
Love it.
So anyway, as you see, fantasy, a joke. It's funny. I mean, this is funny. There's comedy in it. It's like hilarious, right? So I never took myself that seriously. But this is the part that I really want people to understand. I did go to gay men clubs. I got invited by gay men like Hustler Ball in Berlin. I performed all over the world. I performed in Amsterdam, all these kind of seedy gay men's, always leather. It was the leather dark scene because I was an anomaly and I was a fetish. And I knew that going into it. I didn't think people looked at me like a man. They looked at me like a weirdo fetish. And I was like, okay, whatever, write the check, dude. We're good. And so by doing all of that and understanding, I kept it in a very specific space. I never did mainstream, ever. I never did a show like this. I never went on a show and said I'm a gay man. I never said I was a gay man. Ever did I say that. I always had girlfriends or partners when I was doing all of this. Always female, never male. So that being said, I really want people to understand, because I see people say stuff, well, you caused this, Buck. It's your fault. I made porn. So now you're going to say every time somebody makes some kind of porn and it becomes like a thing. And also it didn't really even become a thing. There's not a lot of trans guys porn. It really isn't. I'm still made this thing in it because it just didn't really take off, because it's a fetish, dude. It's not a sought after kind of like pornography. So that being said, I never did do mainstream. Number one. Number two, I always disclosed. Okay. If there was going to be a situation, the first thing that came out of my mouth was I'm a transsexual. I'm a female to male transsexual, blah, 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 blah. Never would I ever. And I've always advocated for disclosure. I think it's disgusting not to disclose. And I got railed by the trans community. They said I'm victim blaming because I said, when you don't disclose, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. Why do you think trans women get offed a lot? Because they go home with straight dudes and pull out their dick. And then straight dudes are like, I'm not a homo. It happens all the time, dude. So as you see, and also I talk about AIDS. I grew up in the AIDS, epidemic, lost all my friends to AIDS. And so it's the same thing. You better fucking disclose you have AIDS before, or HIV or whatever, before you go home and have sex with somebody. I see this coming from the young generation. They're not disclosing because they're on PrEP or they're on whatever, and they don't have viral count. I'm like, what? That is actually, so I really do equate these things when you are coming to it the way I look. And if I get picked up by a dude or even a woman, dude, even a woman, if I don't say this is the situation, I am being disingenuous. It is actually non-consensual. And on some level, I believe it's sexual assault because you're not. So to your point in this show, it is. And to your point to the show, I believe it is wrong to put this trans man who is a female in a gay dating show. Okay, because they are not a gay man. They are a trans man, which is a female who's identifying, like, let's get real here. And it's not fair to the other contestants. Maybe 3 of the contestants are cool with it. But how do we know all the contestants are cool with it?
Well, that's an interesting point you raised, which now I remember, because loads of people sent a complaint to the BBC, and everyone got the same reply. It was just copy and paste.
Oh
And
God.
it said we try, we've always been an inclusive show, of course, just meaningless. And it also said that we screened the guys before. But the problem with this, right, is if they screened the group to make sure they're all okay with a trans man, then that's being immediately exclusive to gay men who aren't. So you're basically making it sort of a weird sort of pseudo bisexual show. But dude,
I don't force people to buy my porn. It was there. You could get it or not, right? It's like me saying you have to buy it or you're transphobic. It's literally the same thing, right? And that's, you can't do that. You can't do that with anything, okay? I made it. You might not agree with it, but it's over here. You never have to look at it. You never have to touch it. It's not in anybody's face unless you go to a very specific space to buy it. That's what I want people to understand about pornography. You don't have to agree with porn. It's not for everybody, but it is a thing. And that being said, the dating show is on public television where everyone's seeing it, and it's not consensual to the players, because if the players say no, they're going to get kicked off the fucking team.
Yeah. And it's also a competition. So at the end of each episode, they have a kiss off, it's called. And if any of the guys are left on their own and no one wants to kiss them, then they're eliminated. So if you want to win the show, there's a female on the show. Most of the guys probably aren't into the female. Then if you're kind of lacking resources and you want to get through to the next round, then she's an easy target, which is also a bad thing. So you have this kind of bizarre incentive as well. And like a point I make too is I speak to some women, straight women, and there's a real variety of how straight women feel about the male appendage, right?
Yeah.
Some straight women say, I love it. Some straight women say, I'm not really bothered by it, but I'm attracted to like the whole form, and then I can sort of get into it. And then some women say, actually, I find that bit grotesque, but it's more about the whole thing. Now, I've never met a gay man in my life who is not obsessed with that.
That's right, dude.
It's just the reality we have to face.
That's right.
They all are obsessed, okay? It's just a thing. And it just goes to show how male sexuality works, because men are very visual. So a lot of straight men, they're very into the female things. So naturally, the gay men are into those. And it's just the truth, right? But
dude, go to any dating site. Literally, they send you dick pics. Okay, that's all you got to say right there. Dudes always send you dick pics. Why? Because they're into dick. You could have the ugliest face in the world. Trust me, they'll put a mask on you. It doesn't matter if you have a big old one. They're into it, dude. So everything you're saying is what. That's why I know. Also, I was in a sexual space with gay men. Right? They weren't gay men, dude. I actually experienced where they had a hard time getting erect because they never had seen a vagina before. Okay, so I'm telling you, I have firsthand experience with it. Bullshit. This guy is.
Do you think that this is something I'm really curious about? Do you think some of these men were gay, but they were sort of able to sort of perform, or kind of,
that's a great question. And I would say that some of the guys told me they had never had sex with a vagina before and they enjoyed it, but they're never going to do it again. They would say stuff like that. And no hard feelings, dude. We're like, awesome. You got to try something cool. You don't want, it's like trying sushi and you don't like it. So you're never going to eat it again, but you got to try it unless you don't know you like it. I'm not saying that for everybody, but most of the guys, I really do feel were more on the bisexual side, or just wanted to experience something fetishy, or you know what I mean? Like, it just wanted to experience something out of the norm. It didn't make anything like solid, because they were getting paid. It was a job, right? Like, it's literally a job. So you're getting paid X. I mean, you can get a boner, drink a boner drink, and you're good, and we're good, and you made X amount of dollars. And what's his name?
And were you? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say Jeff Stryker, the most famous gay male porn star in the world, is actually straight. supposedly.
Gay for pay.
Gay for pay, dude. So
Well, this is
same
the
thing.
thing, that there you go. Like, men can perform in many scenarios. It doesn't mean that they're bisexual or they're
There you
straight or
go.
whatever. You know, you have to look at actually what actually naturally just turns them on. But
Yes.
yeah, I think, Buck, the thing about this is, like, in your time, we were in a period of time where there were so few, you know,
Yes.
trans people and taking medicalizing, that we could sort of stumble through it. And
That's right. That's right.
And if there were any major issues, they weren't reported on. So I'm not saying that there weren't.
Oh, there
but
were. There were.
now
People didn't like me, dude. People said all kinds of shit about me, gay men. And you know, back then it was like, trying to maneuver that. And now I, as an older person who's more mature, and then I'm seeing the trans man community literally destroy, like, kind of the bridge I was trying to build there. Keep it in a fetish space. Keep it in the dark rooms. Keep it in the clubs. You don't need to come on the internet and start telling everybody that you're a gay man. They're not going to be okay with that. They're just not. But see what I mean? Like, this entitlement to do this destroyed this sort of idea that, you know, you could have a sexual experience with a guy like me, but it doesn't need to be reported all over the fucking internet. And it doesn't, you know what I mean? It just needs to be, because I really do believe I'm a fetish, and I don't have any issues with that, dude, at all. I think it's kind of hot that I'm a fetish.
Yeah, that's interesting because, you know, I have some questions for you, but with that, like, you know, a lot of there's different pockets of the gender critical community or whatever you want to call it. And a lot of them, well, a lot of those females are completely anti-porn, which I respect.
Totally.
I think when it comes to gay stuff, for me, there's a lot less problems in that industry when it comes to abuse and sort of people getting into it for the wrong reasons. I think females are far more vulnerable to that.
Sure.
And, you know, there's so many gay men now that have their OnlyFans and stuff, and they just live this life of, like, partying, and they seem to be having a good time anyway. But you know, a lot of gender
seem to be. We can get into a whole other discussion next time about that.
I just think I can see how it would suit gay men more, because a lot of gay men just have loads of sex anyway.
That's
you know?
right.
Like, I would never want to be filmed or anything like that. So sorry to disappoint my followers. So you're never getting that.
You can make a lot of money, dude.
I don't think so. I think people would be horrified.
You know, it's a different industry now too, because now you can have OnlyFans. When I did it, it was DVD, dude, and VHS. That's where the money was, because it wasn't all over the internet. So, you know, old school, dude. And now anyone can make porn or be a porn star, because you just have your phone and an OnlyFans account, right? So you're not, no one makes anywhere near the amount of money we used to make back in the day, because now it's just so flooded with basically anyone can be a porn star.
And you can see now, to compete against each other, they're doing more and more extreme stuff, like that.
That's right.
You know, the Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, those two.
Oh my God.
You know,
it's so
with
weird.
Hundreds of men in a day, like.
It's sad. You know what? I've been around the porn industry for a long time. Even before I was doing it, I was behind the scenes. Let me tell you, man, the straight industry. Whoa. Oh, dude, no, it actually gives me chills, because, you know, there's not to say it all is. I don't want people to get that. There are women who have full control over their stuff, and they make a lot of money. They get in and they get out. Okay. That's the way to do porn. You get in and you get out. Okay. You do your thing, you make your cash, and you move forward. But then you're right. It's getting so extreme, but those things have been around for a long time, and they've always been sort of intense. When you have sex with 1,000 dudes, that's actually insane. Actually, I think mentally it's going to tear you up. Yeah.
What's funny about that though, too, is that in gay world, like, I don't know about 1,000, but there are lots of other stuff like that out there, of being like G-banged by 100 guys or whatever. Those things have all just, like, no one's picked up on those. You know, everyone's like, nah.
I know.
But,
well,
like,
we're used to the gay guys.
To show you.
Totally.
Let me ask you a few questions, Buck.
Yeah.
So we can do kind of a quick fire. So the first one I have is, so when you started taking testosterone and stuff, did you start developing attraction towards men, or how did that work?
Yeah, it's a great
All
question.
right.
And in fact, I actually have a documentary I'd love to send you that I made back 20 years ago. It was called Sexing the Trans Man. And I noticed my sexuality changed, but it wasn't my. So now, again, being mature and understanding things. Remember, you grow a lot in 20 years. That being said, yes, I thought I was attracted to men. And in fact, I was sexually attracted to trying it. Okay. Because prior to that, I never had sex with men. I was full on straight up lesbo, dude, like hardcore dyke, dude, had all the chicks. I was like a stud, like, you know what I mean? But then when I got the testosterone and I started hanging out with gay men and going to the gym and being a total gym queen, then I literally started thinking, oh, wow, that would be fun. And I sort of went that way. And then I noticed a lot of other trans men at the time were sort of experimenting. So I did a documentary talking about, I'd love to send it to you so you can maybe get a perspective of it is the testosterone. There's no doubt about it. It's the testosterone.
Increased sex drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you mistaken that for this whole thing happening to you, right? That kid on the show, he's a kid. I don't even know. I don't think he's been on testosterone that long. So he's experiencing something that all of us trans men, most of us have experienced. And he thinks he's a gay man because he's having these ideas of attraction. He's attracted to masculinity because of his own masculinity, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you familiar with that kind of genre of fan fiction called slash fic?
Oh no.
It's basically when it's like teenage females a lot, but there is a community where they basically write fan fiction of mainstream stories like Harry Potter or something, and they always pair two of the male characters together. So they might write a story about like Harry and Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy or something, if you're familiar with them. But Helen Joyce has done quite a lot of research on this because they're written in a very female way. They're not written in a kind of understanding how males approach relationships. Yeah. And I honestly think that is spurring on a lot of these desires. And I think a lot of women now are terrified of being sexualized. And something I've always appreciated about gay relationships is that it's possible to have a very equal power dynamic. You won't necessarily be overpowered by the other, even though you do get some twinkie guys that want to be with like a 50-year-old or whatever, but that's quite specific. Sure. So I think a lot of women are being drawn into this idea of kind of having an equality and equal playing field. Yes. But also running away from like their period and their like that person Lars started transitioning at 18. That's very young, That's
too young. I don't believe that. You don't know who you are at 18. I barely know who I am at 62. Are you fucking kidding me? You don't know who you are at 18 enough to make this kind of situation bullshit. There might be one person out of hundreds of thousands that might. So you can't really, 100%. I do not think an 18-year-old can make that choice. But I think you're right. And I think that women have always looked at men. Why do you think gay men always have straight women friends? There's this thing that I think women are attracted to around male masculinity and around the freedom that you all have with sex, right? And I think I was attracted to that. This freedom, because to date a woman is a whole other level. Now I don't want everybody to get mad at me and call me a sexist, toxic man, but it's real. In my experience, it's a different level, dude. It's not, hey, dude, how you doing? Let's go have sex. It's okay, we're going to talk on the phone for 2 hours and then we're going to go to the movies and then dinner. And then maybe on the next date, we're going to do something. I'm like, but wait, I just paid for dinner. It's a real thing.
I speak to gay men who really want a boyfriend, and they go on dates all the time. And I'm like, why don't you just try not sleeping with him the first night? Just the first night. And they're like, why the hell would I not do that? Like, it's in their world. But I think when you do that straight away, it's harder to get a serious situation from it. So I also wanted to ask you now. Yeah. So with the trajectory my channel has been on, I've sort of been on a bit of a journey and I've changed my mind about some stuff. Great. I've attracted there's certain people that watch my channel that are a lot more hardline, and I sort of ended up attracting that. That's all right. Which I really appreciate their support and everything, but then the problem is that if I step a toe out of line and use I would use he, him for you, for example, I get loads of so much criticism And even sometimes they start getting homophobic for me, or if I
Oh,
start
God.
talking about men's interests more, they're like, this is misogynistic. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not here. I'm
Yeah.
here just to say what I think. I'm not here to
That's right.
be kind of your monkey, like conforming to this
Uh-huh.
this road. And a lot of the people I've interviewed are extremely hardline, and I would say I'm kind of 90% there, right? So my
Sure.
way is, if you are choosing to do this to your body and you tell me you're happy, I believe you. I'm
Yeah.
not here to decide that.
Right.
Although I do think, there's lots of issues that can happen. But
Sure.
if you're honest about your sex and you're not saying I'm the same as a gay man or whatever, then I can get on board with the pronoun, because it doesn't have as much weight. It doesn't have
Mhm.
this like, oh, you're now going to be allowed into our space or whatever. I would still want to
Right.
be able to say to that trans man, I'm having a gay only event. This is only for males, right? And then be okay with it. But naturally, some people hate that we're friendly. And
So
they're like, oh my
right.
God, I can't believe you're having a live with Buck or whatever. And I'm here like, sorry, but people also will reply to my tweets with like receipts from you from like years ago and stuff like that. So I'm eager to know, like, have you changed your mind on some of this stuff?
Of
Because
course.
there are some tweets from you. So for example, I'm going to put you in the hot seat here.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
so-
It's not
so-
hot. It's honesty.
So one of them is 2020. So we're talking 5 years. But
Okay.
you said, I am a top and many gay men are attracted to me because
Sure.
and have sex with me, not because of my vagina.
Mhm.
You said, if a gay man does not want to have sex with a trans man, it is the right of the gay man. You are sounding
Yeah.
so homophobic. Knock
Right.
it off. So one
Right.
thing I just want to say before you answer is that what really frustrates me is that people don't allow you to change your mind. And even when you
Yeah.
tell people 1,000 times, I've
That's
changed my
right.
mind. Like, I
Yeah.
think I'm not too familiar with the story, but I think there's something about you in your very early days kind of being entertaining the trans child thing before you really knew a lot about it.
Yes, and I've been very honest about that. I even wrote a whole post
Yeah.
about it. 100% I was for children. 100%. I've been
Yeah.
very honest. I wrote about it. I even helped a woman here talk to the LA Children's Hospital. Oh, 100% I was. There's no doubt about it. And I talk about that. I'm not embarrassed about it. I just got duped like everybody else. It's why I'm so hardline now, because I even got sucked into it. It's that easy. I changed my mind. So what?
Mhm.
And if people aren't okay with me changing my mind, then they're not okay with having people learn and change their mind, which is actually absurd.
This is the thing. You can't really go right, because a lot of people want the world to change with gender ideology.
That's right. That's
And
right.
they always say, oh, everyone's just going to like pretend that they never believed it when this is over. And they're going to say, oh, I was
That's
never
right.
really that into it. But then if someone actually comes out and says, I was wrong,
I know.
they'll never let you forget
Nope,
it. And it's like,
they'll
what do
never.
you guys want?
That's
There
what I'm
is-
saying. I don't care what those people think about me. I'm really willing to always own up to my mistakes. I've made many mistakes, Jack, many mistakes. There's no doubt about it. And anyone who thinks that they're never making mistakes is an idiot and also not honest with the world. 100% I believed in trans kids. I do not believe in it now, and I fight hard against that. Number
You
two,
do.
I've said things about gay men and gay sex 20, 15, 5 years ago. Most definitely. I believe myself in as being a more of a top, because in the gay men's language, I've been around gay men for a long time in a fetish environment. I never put it in people's faces. You had to go look at it or find it, right? That being said, I do believe gay men can make their own choices. And if they want to have sex with a person like me, it's literally their thing. It's like saying you can't masturbate all the time and not have sex, or you're not really gay, right? Like you're only masturbating to porn. That doesn't make you gay. Like there's so many levels of just this. Everything isn't so black and white. Now, that being said, talking about this today, I believe that this is very disingenuous of the trans man to be on a gay dating show. I'm not okay with that, because they're
Yeah.
not presenting it as a gay men's dating show. Okay. I didn't make gay men porn. I made buck angel porn. Okay. So maybe it got put in the shelf as gay porn because I was the fetish, but I did not make gay porn. I made buck angel, the man with the vagina porn. So, again, it's all fantasy based. It's
So
all.
do you think do you think if a guy calls him gay and then he sleeps with a trans man, does that
Mhm.
make him not? What do you think? Does that then make
That's
him
not
not
my
gay?
place to
Or
say. Honestly, I don't think it is my place to say that, because I do believe that people can. I think in a reality base, if we're going to take them out as actual humans and we're going to put it on paper and just say, can X, who's a gay man, sleep with Y, who's a transgender female to male? Does that make them gay? I would say no, it doesn't make them gay. And I would say that there's something else going on there. And if anything, it's bisexual, right? Or fetish. I think trans men
it's
who
a
have, yeah,
it's a bisexual experience,
yes,
but there's just so many factors because,
yes,
maybe would you do it once? Sure. Would you be in a long-term relationship with that person? Probably not.
that's right, that's
It's
right.
it's very complicated, but
It
I
is.
tend to break it up into the science. So if you are
Sure.
sleeping with a trans man, that is not a homosexual experience, no matter
It's
what you tell
not.
yourself.
It is not a homosexual experience. I 100% agree with you on that. And I could use me and my partner, my wife, who's a woman. Okay. We live, like I said, we live as these people in the world. We walk down the street with our kid. We just look like some hip straight couple, right? With a kid. Nobody ever knows. But if you want to put it on paper, right? We are doing
Yeah.
things that two women do together. We're not doing two
Uh-huh.
things that a man and a woman do together, if that makes
Sure.
sense. And that's, again, is my grounding of myself. And anyone who wants to challenge me about what I said last week or 2 years ago, go ahead. I have no issues with challenging me at all. I think it's important to challenge me. Do you still feel this way, Buck? Do you feel it? And I'll pretty much tell you that most of the things I said back then, probably I have a different opinion about it. So even my political stance, right? My politics has changed.
Mm. So I'm curious what you mean by top, because
Sure.
I think there are a lot of gay men who feel offended because
Sure.
that's sort of a term they use, and then it's maybe seen as kind of fetishizing them. Plus, also
Sure.
the idea of topping is being able to
Penetrate.
Sure.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
just mean
exactly
it
what
more
top-
in like do you just mean you're more dominating, or what do you mean when you use that word?
Energy. Because again, I come from the BDSM leather scene. Okay, back in the day when it's old school, there's old guard, there's top and bottom, there's master and slave. There's all these things going on that are very much not about the genitals, but more about the energy that you are giving, right? So my energy, to all the gay men out there who take it personally as my top, no need to take that on. I no way am I trying to disrespect you. I'm talking about my energy, right? And my energy coming to play in that space was always more of a sort of masculine, more again, I'm going to use the word top. I can't think of a different word now, but more of the sort of like dominant energy in that field. It's not necessarily about penetration.
So there's a term in gay world when you're a bottom, but you're the one who kind of rules the roost and controls what's going on, which is called a power bottom. So
or topping from the bottom.
I think if I know, Buck, that there are some people who will just never be on board with you, which I think I find it sad. I mean, I don't know how you deal with. I think there are some people who would just rather you not be visible at all, and only because of the comments I see. Like I don't care.
I don't care what people think about me.
But I do think that for gay men, you could forge a bit more of an alliance by not using the word top and using the word dom.
Oh, I haven't said that. When did I post that? I don't even think I talk about sexuality on X anymore. Very rare.
I just want to sort of use it now, but
no, I do not use it. I don't talk about my sex. I don't talk about my porn. I don't talk about my sex work. I don't talk about sex. I literally talk about women's spaces, children, trans women or men, and trans men or women. That's literally if you go look at my X, you're not going to see anything about top or bottom, right? That's my personal business. What I do in my personal space is nobody's business. And if you see me somewhere and you're not comfortable with it, then that's your business, and that's okay. I don't really even go to clubs or male spaces anymore. And I just want people to understand I was invited. I never put myself in those spaces. I never felt entitled. Ever did I feel entitled to go to the Eagle, okay, in Berlin or wherever. Never. I was always invited. And when I was invited by gay men, I went. And if I was not invited, I did not go. And that's where the trans men have lost their way. They feel entitled to those spaces. They are not entitled to gay men's space because it's not their space. Okay, you have to be invited into the space. And once you get invited, that's called respecting the space. And then you can kind of coexist with gay men.
Yeah, and I think for gay men, I think the reason a lot of them find it disrespectful, I mean, apart from feeling really uncomfortable, but gay men used to have to be, do things in secret, those lot of bathroom situations or like the forest and those kind of cruising things. So for them to be able to actually get mainstream places was a really important thing, because then it wasn't this, they were no longer seen as much as, these really perverse people. So the problem is now a lot of these girls feeling emboldened by this are actually very confused, very lost. And, if you're kind of a 19-year-old awkward autistic-y girl, and you and you're not masculine at all, like that you're in for a really, really bad situation. So I think I can talk about it from, feeling sympathy for them too, because they are young, and this is something else people will get mad at me at, but like they've been indoctrinated by a whole community, and this is something the older generation has done. I have one more question for you.
Of course.
So what is the deal with you and Mr. Menno?
I don't know. I'm not a hateful guy. I think you know that. And I'm always willing to build bridges. You don't like me and you don't agree on everything, but here we sit, right? And we probably could hang out when I come to the UK. So it's that easy. Totally. Something went off the rails because I used to actually really follow him and I actually agree with him a lot of stuff that he says. Then he made a whole video about me and I was like, what? And he literally went off the rails on me. And I'm like, wow, dude, you could have actually sent me an email. I mean, you could have actually sat down and had a conversation together, but you didn't do that, did you? You totally tried to derail me. I don't play that, dude. I'm old school. I'm an old school motherfucker who will knock you the fuck out if you come at me without giving me a chance to have a conversation. So that's really where it came to. And then he just kept fucking throwing shit on the wall at me, right? And I'm like, man, you don't want to build a bridge, and I'm on the same team. That's the weird thing about it. I'm on the same team. Like I'm literally fighting for the same thing that he's fighting for.
I think that might be the issue, because so I would say me and him are friendly. Like I don't know him well enough to call him friend, and I have met him before. But our styles of content, I would say, are very, very different. And I think, unfortunately, and this is not what I think, but there are people, and I don't want to speak for him, but there are people who see people like you and Blair as just as much of an issue as the really crazy ones.
Oh, well, and good luck getting rid of us. Good luck. You're never getting rid of us. First off, the trans debate is ours. It is mine. Okay. It's not Mr. Menno. He's not even part of the trans community. So if they want to actually create a better space, and also I'll be honest with you here, I don't give a fuck what Mr. Menno thinks about me. He can go fuck himself. I actually don't care. I gave him a chance to be intolerable with me. Okay. I'm not going to ever have a situation with that dude. So that's how I play, dude. I'm old school. Okay. You throw the first punch, you're going fucking down, dude. And that's just how I am. So he can call me she and a woman and I'm the problem, but the thing is this, dude, I have way more people who listen to me than probably will ever listen to him. So if he really wants to create change, you would think that he would listen to me. You'd think he'd listen to me, because my motherfucking channel is growing like mad and my presence is because I'm honest. I'm honest, dude. I don't need to hide anything from anybody. I am a female. There's fucking no, I'm an ugly ass female, but I'm a fucking female who lives as a dude.
That's not true. God, I'm sure if he heard this, he'd probably be raging. But so where I do agree with you is so he probably doesn't, and like I said, I can't speak for him, but if you kind of think you're on the same ish side of the aisle, he probably doesn't see it that way. But for me, I work the same way as you in terms of there are in this ecosystem, there are some things that you might say or Brad Palumbo might say or these people I'm friendly with that I disagree with. But when someone is broadly kind of aligned with me, I wouldn't just make a video dragging them. And this
Nope.
happened to me with Ty Rivera, and
he
he's
did.
he's come at
He's
me
a
like
good friend.
several times.
No,
Yeah,
I'm so bummed. Oh wow,
he doesn't like me.
really?
But
Ty is such
but
a
there
good.
you go.
I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked because he actually is smart and good, and something happened. I don't know what happened, but I didn't even know that happened. I'm bummed.
Yeah, I think it was a good learning curve for me, because you
Sure.
obviously have to be careful who you trust. And me and him haven't spoken much. But honestly, I wanted to have him on my podcast at some stage. It was someone I had in my head.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I was surprised, because some things have been said about me that are just not true, and they're very
Of
just
course.
assumptions.
Dude, get used to it. As you grow and become more big, it's just literally people are going to throw shit at you constantly. But you're smart and you understand how to. That's why Mr. Menno doesn't get on. I don't give a fuck about that guy, because I just can maneuver around that. People are going to try to stop you. They are. They're going to try to trip you. They're going to, dude, I started in porn. Don't you think that's pretty hardcore? So then I grew a thick ass skin, dude. You can't really mess with me. I don't think you can actually mess with me. Call me every name in the book. You can tell me what I did is bad. You can tell me I'm evil and I'm the devil and I'm doing this to kids and everything is my fault. But maturity really does play a part of growing up. And my maturity level is I'm so happy to be 62. I'll be 63 in a week, dude. And it's just crazy that I could survive everything I've survived to make to 63 years old, to sit here with you and have an actually really intelligent conversation. And we don't agree, but we don't agree doesn't mean we have to hate each other. It means we don't agree. Since when can't we disagree with shit? That's what I don't really understand what's happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure we even have in this conversation, but I know what I'm always telling myself, because when you're a content creator, it's so easy to get hooked into, oh, this is my niche. These are the opinions people expect from me.
That's right.
And there's going to be people who don't like me associating with you, but I would rather... Right. And for example, I could do a video with Mr. Menno. Like if I saw him in person, I'd be friendly with him. You two maybe would not, but I want to make sure that I do what feels right for me. And if anyone's like, oh, Jack made a video with Buck, I'm gonna unsubscribe, that's okay. I'd rather curate people that actually just like me for me and are okay with having some differences and stuff. So I think if anyone watching today wants to become a YouTuber or wants to create stuff, that's so important, is try not to get sucked in by this brand, and then suddenly you're not the same person, so. Oh
no, you change your values for the people. No, you're not here for that. And that's what I said from the beginning of this show. You and I like to make money. Let's not beat around the bush. But this isn't just about the money. Doesn't matter. You can do it. It's going to happen for you.
I'm coming up behind you, Buck.
You are, and I want you to. I actually want to pull you. That's why Mr. Menno doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. I would have pulled Mr. Menno up. I actually would have done that, because that's my style, dude. I'm about sharing. I'm not about taking everything and holding on to it. That's not my style. It never has been. I mentor a lot of young trans people, okay? Get them out of the fucking hormone shit. Get them out of surgery. Tell them to wait. I sit with these fucking kids, and I make sure you are going to make it, dude, and you're going to be a success, but sit the fuck down. And same with you, dude. Just keep going. Slow and steady wins the race. When I was a runner, that's what my coach taught. And I won every single fucking race because I was slow and steady. But people just think, oh, I got to say what everybody wants to hear. And if I don't do that, then, Blair White is a great example of that. She doesn't give a fuck what you think about her. That woman has a million subscribers here because she literally says what everyone wants to say. So if you continue to say...
Blair's also, someone I would love to interview one day. So,
well, I can connect. Blair's one of my great friends. So there you go. I make connections, dude. I'm all about making connections, because the bottom line, let's just be real here. We have to save these kids. And there are a lot of gay kids who are going to suffer because they cut their tits off and they took hormones and they look like fucking... I'm going to say the R word. If I get kicked off YouTube. You know what I mean? It's like, what? We can't let... no matter what our political beliefs are and all that, dude, we got to save these kids, man. And you, as a gay man, you are a good, responsible gay man who's showing kids that they can be awesome and handsome and have relationships and be smart and move forward. And they don't have to transition to be a woman, dude.
Hmm. What would you, so if you were given the option of either things sort of continue as they are, or
Yeah.
child transition stops, but that means all of transition stops, which would you pick?
I'd say all transition, because you know why? I told and I say it all the time on this channel, I don't give a fuck. I'm willing to sacrifice my own self, okay? Because I've lived a great life, dude. If I die tomorrow, I can tell you I lived an awesome life, okay? And I have a fat bank account. That being said, I'll give it to my wife, okay? That being said, okay, I am willing to sacrifice everything I have fought for because the kids matter to me. Okay, it's actually going to make me cry because those kids, dude, are being lied to. And can you imagine this helping me and then literally seeing this and they're saying it's what I did? And I'm like, what? This is literally going to derail so much of what I fought for adults to have what I have. A great life, dude. And then how dare we? I can't be associated with that. It's like giving people drugs and saying, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Like, no, that's actually not true, dude. Like, so yeah, I'd be willing to give up everything I have here today. And even if I had to go back to living female, I said it, if they change my passport, dude, to female, it's going to be hilarious because I'm going to talk about a conversation piece when you're traveling and the customs dude gets my passport and it says female. Dude, it just opens up a great I'm a conversationalist, dude. So I'm just like, yeah, dude, this is hilarious. I'm a tranny and I can just picture the whole thing. I don't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah. This is I totally agree. And something that really drives me is some of the gay men I've met in person who at first I didn't even know, but then I found out that actually they had been transed as a child and they had got the bottom surgery and they obviously realized they regret it. And now, you know, then they took testosterone and they kind of look like a gay man, normal gay man. But I can't imagine trying to navigate the world. Like I said before, gay men are obsessed with that. And you're like,
what?
You're confining those men to a life of potential loneliness. And I felt like crying in that moment. And it doesn't matter if even people in my family like don't want to talk to me anymore or think that I'm privileged and like I'm here for those gay men. If you want to stand up for the trans kids, go for it. But I'm here to protect those people.
That's what I just told you. You and I built a bridge. You take care of your shit, dude. I got your back. I'll take care of this shit. You got my back. That's how we're going to save this community, dude. I also want people to know I'm fully for separating LGB from TQIA pee poo poo. I don't even belong to that, dude. If I could choose, I'd be in the gay community, dude. That's my community. I feel connected to the LGBT community. Fuck those people. We need to literally separate that shit. I'm all about the LGBT. I actually, I've always supported the LGBT Alliance. How dare people don't understand why they want to? I mean, they're using the gay community and destroying all of you and just fucking people up. But my point is that people can't see the bigger picture. And so when we have people like Mr. Menno or people coming at you because you have me on the channel or blah, 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 they don't see the bigger picture, dude. And I think you're smarter than that. And doesn't mean you can't be friends with any of those people or whatever. But I think the sad thing to me is people are so absolutist and there is no such thing. Okay. You got to find a way to create this space and you've got to get a way to communicate to the people who I've changed so many people's minds, you know, only because I'm honest. And I think by changing people's minds is how we all move forward. I think you and I are centrist kind of people. We're like middle ground people. We believe in the rights.
The main thing that's important to me is not necessarily finding people that agree with me on the gender stuff. It's the main quality I like in people is the ability to disagree and diversity of thought.
Right on.
Now, if you're someone that's like, let's trans all the kids, that's probably a bit too far. We probably won't be friends.
That's not diversity, dude.
You know, but if you're someone who's like, I'm always going to use sex-based pronouns, That's like
Yeah.
cool, you know. Or if you're someone who's left wing or right wing, but we agree on gender, I don't care. The best friendships I now have are people who are just open minded and can have just a very calm discussion about otherwise divisive things, and that's kind
right.
of that's what I'm looking for. So.
And you have it. Your channel is awesome. You know, before we do go, there's one thing I wanted to talk about before we go. I don't know how old you are, and I don't really care. But that being said, there was a show.
I'm exactly half your age, so I'm 31.
Okay, little youngster. So that being said, I know sometimes I can't even believe I'm in my 60s. I act like a fucking 12-year-old. So that being said, that's why I love having kids, dude. I get to go to the playground and hang out with my 13-year-old kid. That being said, that came out wrong. It sounds all creepy.
Don't worry, we get you.
There was a show. I think it was in the UK, and it was called Something About Miriam.
Yeah.
Do you remember that show?
Mm-hmm.
I know. I hope people in the chat, and it's a very important thing I'm going to say here, and it's why it connects to the I Kissed a Boy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a show called Something About Miriam. And hold on here one second, my friend. I want to push us over here. Let me see. I just found this, and I think I can bring it up here. Wait, where did you go? Hold on. I don't want to lose you. Maybe it's here. Okay, here.
Awesome.
Watch this. I took the, hopefully it's not going to derail my channel, but anyway, I don't care. It's important conversation.
Oh, this is going to be really old, I think, so it won't.
Really old. Yeah, so you might be right. Good point. Okay.
Reveal was written, that was scripted. I overheard a conversation about how they would work. But she said them, so they become her words. You know, I was born a man, is what she said. So they immediately thought, I've just fancied a man.
Before I move forward, I just want to celebrate real quick. This was a date show in the UK called Something About Miriam. And basically they casted a transgender woman who looks full up like a chick. Okay. They didn't tell any of the guys in the show that she was a trans woman. Okay. So I'm sort of locking that in for you right there. So now watch what happens when she reveals.
It was so incredible.
Oh, and these are the guys from the show 20 years later.
Incredibly uncomfortable. It felt like all the air had been sucked out of the room, and Tom just starts gasping. And as he's doing that, he's looking around at everybody all around him.
I wanted to show you the part where she actually, oh, here it is, where she actually tells them.
Tom, you're funny, you're hilarious, and you always make me happy. Scott, you're brilliant, fantastic, and honest. But we all know one of you has to be the winner. And the winner is... Tom, you're the winner!
Listen to the music.
The guys in the back already know, don't they?
They all know, dude. I think everyone knew.
The guys,
because
the guys in the back were eliminated, but they all found out when they were each eliminated.
Yes.
So they all know.
Shocked as you can guess.
Yes, that's right.
Oh yeah.
No, really, I'm kind of lost for words.
Oh wait, here it is. Here it is, dude. Here it is. Oh, it's so gnarly.
Yeah. I've just fancied a man.
Sorry, I should have had it queued up.
I love men.
Here it is. Oh my god, dude.
And I love being a woman. But I'm not a woman. I was born as a man.
Oh. Dude, look at the dudes in the back.
So bad. I know.
So I'm showing you this, as you know, for a reason. There's a fucking reason I'm showing you this. Because when you aren't honest, even though I think Lars has been honest about it, it's only like a surface honesty. Because you're not being honest about gay men's sexuality when you put a trans man into this space. It's that they got fucked for this. Do you know that she ended up like
it's
actually
definitely
committed?
Yeah. So it's definitely what's happening in I Kissed a Boy. I don't think it's as bad as what happened in that show.
No, it's not.
Because
it's not.
The whole premise of that show was to purposefully deceive.
That's
and
right.
They all kissed that
right.
person.
That's right.
But so what's crazy about that show is they all sued the producers,
That's right.
and
Yep.
then after they sued, they aired the
Yep.
show. So you think they wouldn't air it, and then the transsexual in it committed
totally off
suicide.
herself. Totally offed herself, dude. Totally.
So-
She went down into a deep spiral, and it's horrible. You can go watch the documentary about that. It's so sad. You're gonna cry. It's disgusting on all levels. It's disgusting. You don't tell men.
I mean, you have to be pretty messed in the head to be comfortable with deceiving all those men.
Oh my God! Some men, they could smell it a mile away. Some of those dudes, they already knew. They're not dumb.
Really?
That being said, oh yeah, they knew. Some of the guys knew. They could just tell.
Where is that documentary? I need to watch it.
I'll send it to you. I think it's called Something About Miriam. I think that's the actual. I think it's on Hulu. I think so. I'll find it and send you the link. It's actually great because it interviews all her friends and how the whole thing happened. She didn't actually want to do some of the stuff that they were making. Remember, people, reality shows are scripted. It's not reality. So I think I Kissed a Boy has some scripting in it. I don't think it's all just naturally coming out
100%.
of, but getting back to your point, I still think they are doing this in a very deceitful way, even though everyone knows Lars is trans, right? And identifies as a gay man, right? So that's not the same thing.
But that's not how they presented it at first, because Lars has to tell all of them. And Lars kisses the gay man before Lars tells him.
That's my point and why I showed this, because that is deceitful, disgusting, non-consensual, homophobic. I mean, there's so many levels to that, dude. I'm disgusted by them. Wow. I didn't know that. Oh my God.
So I mean, I think the only difference is that guy probably said before, I would with a trans man, but still
doesn't matter.
Even if you would, you still have to know someone's sex before you are intimate with them.
Dude, that's non-consensual. Like literally non-consensual. Like if you were to go home with a dude, you don't have to say anything. You both know you're gay dudes or whatever dudes, and then you know what's actually going to happen. But when you go home with me, dude, you're not getting what you think you are getting. Okay, so how rude of me. First off, how rude of me. Secondly, it's disgusting for my own self. Why would I want to put myself in a position where you flip out on me and maybe beat the crap out of me, or, just literally also for you? Like the whole thing is it's so weird that you wouldn't tell somebody that you're trans, who you're going to have intimacy. Even kissing is intimacy, dude.
You have to be very indoctrinated to think that you shouldn't,
I think so. I totally agree. Like it's transphobic if you don't date a trans person, right? Even though you have no desire. I don't date trans people, so I must be transphobic.
Oh, we both know you are at this stage.
I'm so transphobic. I literally am, dude. Keep me away from those freaks. Total weirdos.
You and Blair are the evil, like, trans king and queen in this fairy tale.
We love it too, dude, because we're gonna save the kids. I don't give a fuck about. I don't care about how many friends I have. Like seriously, I have enough. Anyway, you're lovely. I really thank you for having open discussion with me. And really, I know you get a lot of hate from being around me, but it says a lot about you that you're willing to step up to the plate. And that's why I think you're going to just do really well. Please, everybody follow Jack, okay? Because Jack's channel is totally awesome. And you have anything you want to say before we head out?
No, it's been really fun. I really do appreciate our connection, and like I said, I think when you were on my channel, even when I was really small, you were sometimes plugging me, and that touched me a lot because I got into this stuff through watching some of your stuff too. And I do, it doesn't matter what other people say, but I appreciate your friendship, and I do feel you're a genuine person. And Travis said the same thing when I interviewed him, that some people won't interview him just because he had you on the documentary. And it's like, well, surely it's useful hearing from someone who's done this,
You think? Like, it's so funny how, like, no, he totally got railroaded by the gender criticals. Are like, wow, it's all your fault.
I think people are. Do you read the chat? Because someone is saying, are they reading the chat? I don't know.
Are you guys going to do another podcast together? I have mods here. So is there anything nasty?
All right. No,
If
no,
there's
no. I
anything
just
nasty.
I think someone was like, "Are you reading the chat? Can someone tell me?" So
Well, yeah, my
um,
mods are. If there's anything,
okay.
did you want me to see something? Hold on here. Let me see if I have some. I have a question here. So happy to see you today, Trampa. Hi, Jack. Happy to hear your story. Oh, thank you, nefarious Jen. Thank you. And then I have 2 new members, which is awesome. See how that works. And please go support Jack and be a member of his channel too, or just send him a little gift. And Rock says, saw one of your movies recently. Nice body. It's in your workout routine. Well,
Do they
that's
mean those
private.
type of movies?
I'm like, what
Right.
movies? Oh my
Yeah,
god,
you
hilarious.
make me want to take testosterone. I work out so much, and I always stay so slim. You know, it's
Oh no,
better than
but
being fat. But
it's better than being fat, dude. Also, you look great. I like slim. Slim it, that's your body type, right? That's your full on body type. I've been doing this for a long time, dude. And I just like pump iron at the at the gym
yeah,
because I don't want to be a fat like 70-year-old. I'm fat phobic. That's gonna
yeah,
get me more hate.
that's another one of those things, isn't it? Where we're not really in reality.
Oh
So
my god, dude! Literally obese people. I'm like, I'm healthy, and you can eat McDonald's and drink shakes all day, like, and then they die.
yeah, but that was society's fault. So
I think that's
you
the whole
know.
woke bullshit, dude. Like, everyone can be everything, and you know what I mean. Like,
Oh
okay,
yeah, and it's just like, oh, I don't have to have any responsibility. Everything is society's fault.
no,
It's like
totally.
no, like you can make your
No,
life something great. You know.
100%, dude. It's why I take responsibility for this. I'm not the healthiest. Like, testosterone did do some damage to my body, but my quality of life has been better the last 30 years. And so, for me, it was about the quality of my life and not living to be 80 and 90, which I probably will, sadly to say. Take me already, dude.
Yeah,
But
you'll be around forever.
oh my God, don't even say that, please, God. Thanks, Jack. You're super awesome. Please follow Jack and everybody. Thanks for being here today in the chat. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for letting us have this amazing conversation. You're allowed to, in the comments, put what you think, and then we'll read them. And then if you have something negative, please send it.
I'll definitely watch it and read what was said.
Totally,
So forward to
totally
that.
do it, dude. I don't have a lot of hate anymore. It's kind of interesting. I don't know how come that happened. I lost all the hate comments. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy Friday, and
Thanks
have a
for
really
watching,
awesome.
everyone.
Right on.
Bye bye.
Stay right there, friend.